Is that why it's so
Fascination with
dark?
my ass.
It's adorable. You work out.
Ever since Tech 2016, baby, that room in Chicago. What can I say? It was a special night.
Yeah, a real Trump hotel moment between you two.
There was peeing involved. Wait, we're recording now.
We're starting. Listen, this is my intro, so listen up.
Live,
okay.
Intros are happening. You're gonna have the sense. You're gonna have the urge to speak, but try not to. It goes on for a little bit. Not too long, I promise.
Okay, are you gonna tweet this out first? The URL?
No, fuck that. That live recording shit. Nobody cares about it. Nobody cares
Not
about
yet.
it. Who cares?
Not yet, but when they catch the wave.
Frank cares.
Oh my god! All right, that's a good idea.
Just text Frank. Hey Frank, we're doing that thing. You're still not invited, but come watch.
I can't fucking get the thing to. Oh my god! Seriously, is that not copying and pasting?
Except for the fact we talked about peeing already on the live broadcast.
Yeah, let's hope nobody picks that up. I can't get the link to share. I can't get it to copy. Oh, there we go. PK.
Somebody needs to come show you how to use a computer.
Hush. I'm focused here. Okay, I got it. I got to open Twitter back up because I closed it down. I shut down all the applications.
For some reason, I have a lot of deck of cards.
Yeah.
Just sitting here.
Like, you don't know why? Like, your house is haunted by a magician?
Most of them aren't even opened yet. Brand new decks just sitting there.
Or are they? Ooh. They were open the whole time.
I got my solar eclipse glasses.
I've been trying to get some.
Awesome.
I like those because they make a lot of noise when you hold them up to the mic.
So I didn't even know I had these. These were in my house for a week before I knew they were there.
Those look like knockoffs. Like the ones that they said don't use them because... yes, I'm sure that came with a good pair.
So I succumbed to that. I bought it. It sat here without me opening it for like 3 days. And then I watched another episode of Vsauce and it said, oh, in this month's Curiosity box, there's a pair of glasses for the Eclipse. And I was like, oh shit, let me open that. Thomas, you froze.
Boom.
Still?
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're good now.
Anybody see that tweet?
We're live, and I just did a advertisement for Curiosity Box and Vsauce.
Mm-hmm. You get Curiosity Box?
I just got my first one.
That would have been good show content. And we started the actual show.
We did like 5 minutes ago.
So the wife has me on a diet. I was telling you guys the other day that I'm a large individual, and the wife heard me and said I'm on a diet. And I can't begin to explain to you how much I have been craving hot dogs. I like hot dogs, and I really want a hot dog. I can eat the hot dog itself, but I can't have the bun, which kind of makes it the hot dog. Otherwise, you're just eating a sausage, right? Did you realize that the average hot dog has about 110 calories in it? 110 calories. That means Joey Chestnut consumed around 8,000 calories in 10 minutes in 2017. And you know why? Because Joey Chestnut holds the world records for eating the most hot dogs in a 10-minute span with 72 hot dogs. And this is episode 72 of PHP Ugly. Coincidence? I think not.
Absolutely.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Oh, Eric, I love your openings.
Are you really on a diet now?
I'm really on a diet. Yeah,
Oh,
as I
God.
drink my
It's a scotch
scotch
in his
that,
hand.
that I'm
Scotch
not
is
allowed to
zero
drink.
carbs. Zero carbs.
Yeah. No, no. I forget what it's called, but it's like the Atkins diet. It's not the Atkins diet, but it's
Sugar
like
Busters.
that. No sugar, no breads, no sugar,
So,
which
so do you
includes
think?
fruit.
So, do you think banana bread beer has carbs in it?
I don't think it's a carbs. Well, maybe it is a carbs thing. I don't
That's
know. I can eat steak. That's all I know. I can eat steak and eggs. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. I've been getting a lot of steak lately, so that's
You just can't
actually
have
worked out.
You can't have the sourdough toast that comes with it, though.
That's right. And I can't have the hash browns. And yeah, just the steak and the eggs. I deconstructed a carne asada burrito the other day, which wasn't half bad, but it was still not a carne asada burrito by the time I finished with it. But
Yeah,
gentlemen,
you can
how
also
are we?
you can never truly be happy anymore either. That's a key part of the no carb
Why is
diet
that? Oh,
because you can't eat carbs, which are how people get happy.
well,
In my
basically, I can't eat anything good. I think that's pretty much
I
the
thought you just
rules
said
of.
steak. Steak is good.
I do like my steak. Yes.
So
Yeah.
do I.
Steak is overrated.
What? You haven't
Controversial
understood.
episode.
Getting started already.
I like to
I think
speak
we
to
need to kick him off
controversy.
the show.
Not sure I have a problem with that.
Damn
This-
it.
This show has gotten super ugly, and I don't know why.
I just got us a sponsorship.
Quickly.
Well, I mean, I just got me a sponsorship.
How's that?
Well, haven't been sleeping great lately. Casper mattresses, however, are some of the best mattresses you can find online. Highest rated at a 4.9 on Google's ratings.
What's happening right now? Are you?
I'm so confused.
Hey,
Shameless
they gave me-
self-promotion.
They gave me They gave me $100. Only $100.
Sellout. You're a sellout.
If you guys want your
Actually,
parts.
I was gonna say, actually, they only gave you $33.25.
33
Yeah.
cents. Come on. Do the
Yeah.
rounding.
I was gonna float him the extra
34 cents if you're gonna round it correctly.
No, only one of us gets that extra penny.
Well, I suppose since I'm already sleeping on this beautiful Casper mattress, I'll let you guys have
Oh my god! Oh man, what have you knuckleheads been up to this week? Anything important? Anything impressive? Anything spectacular? Have you been changing the world,
Always.
or have you just always?
I've been on Facebook a lot.
Have you? What is with you and Facebook lately?
I had a really bad day Monday
Mm.
and needed to get it out.
Didn't it start
And-
Saturday? Probably started Saturday.
It really didn't start until Monday. Yeah,
Are you gonna make me log into Facebook to see what you're talking about? Or are you gonna
oh no.
expand?
Well, it was about Nazis. We sort of have a Nazi problem right now.
Oh
So
my gosh!
yeah, I got more upset than I anticipated myself getting, and it really did totally destroy a whole day for me just being in a bad place. But
I can understand that.
yeah, but then people started independently taking down Confederate statues, and I felt much better.
We live in a weird time.
We might have a problem here.
The 40s,
What's up? Wait,
the early
hold on, what's
40s,
the
it is a
problem?
weird time.
Eric, what's our problem?
I don't know if I'm recording. I'm not getting any levels in Zencaster for
I'm
me.
getting
I
levels.
see levels.
I
You
do
see
not.
levels for me?
Not for
You
you.
don't see-
That's impressive, though. I mean, I'm not sure how you managed to do that.
Well,
I see.
you'll have
for me and John.
as long as you got you and John. Again, we got the local recording going, so you might have fun editing this
Check
together.
I
Check your
always have
input.
fun editing.
Check your input on Zencaster.
There's how do you? Oh, I actually can't clicking. I can't check it while it's recording. You can't click it while it's recording.
You can
That's all right.
do
I'll
with
edit it.
Zencaster.
I'll
I did
weave
not
it.
know that.
I'll weave it. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can raise your hand. You see that? You can ask. Can you guys mute each other? 'Cause I can mute all you guys.
No,
No,
we
I
can only
can't.
mute ourselves.
Well, don't talk while I have you muted. Jesus. All right. Okay.
Yeah, so you know,
You might have fun
weird-
editing this one.
weird times in America. We don't get into politics too much here, but there is some tech-related stuff. Discord shutting down alt-right and Nazi and basically racist group chats. One of the main sources for the awful media that they like to produce for each other lost its domain in the US, moved it to Russia, lost its domain in Russia, so now it's seeking a host, but they're not doing great.
I heard Facebook put together a rather complex algorithm to strip out the hate speech and the white supremacy propaganda from the Facebook feeds. So and again, I haven't seen any of this firsthand. I don't know exactly how it's working or how successful it is. And I just heard about this today. But supposedly, they have an algorithm in place now where if you're trying to populate these hate links, Facebook is removing you. But if you're commenting on the hate links, as in, you know, hey, this is an awful thing that's happening, blah blah blah, apparently Facebook is letting it through. So it's not just simply saying, hey, if there's any links to, you know, this event, strip it out. It's kind of an AI thing where it's saying, okay, are they, you know, talking about bad things here? Which is kind of a weird thing. I mean, again,
so if I posted a link to some hate speech with said, "Can you believe that this is here and I'm against it?" You're saying they'll let it through.
yeah.
But if they feel like I'm supporting that link, they're blocking it.
That's my understanding of it. And
Interesting.
it's kind of weird if you think about it, right? Because we're on the cuff of course, everybody's supporting this. It's like, yeah, do that. That's wonderful. Don't let those people spread that hate stuff.
There's one guy who isn't. Unfortunately, he's the president.
Yeah. But we gotta, I mean, we feel that way because everybody's kind of feels like they're on the same side. Like all the people who feel like they're on the good side kind of have the same view of this. But it's really a precursor of things to come. Yeah, I mean,
it is, but I see a lot of people.
Doom and gloom. I think you'd be all over this. Go ahead.
I am all over this. I am all over this because I think
supporting it.
I see people decrying this whole thing as censorship and freedom of speech, et cetera, et cetera. But what people keep forgetting is that freedom of speech goes both ways. And if Facebook wants to voice itself by auto-blocking anything it finds objectionable, it's freedom of speech. They get to do that. So you can go on their platform and spew all sorts of hate, but you don't get to cry freedom of speech when they do the same thing by just nuking your account. That's their right too.
Exactly. Yep.
I have no problem with the wholesale silencing of these groups. I don't think that's a freedom of speech concern.
You have no problem with it because you agree with it, and that's
they're
that's the concern.
There was a time.
I completely agree with you.
Millions died to draw a very, very fine line at Nazis.
But you're missing the point here, Thomas. You agree with it because you support it because you agree with it. What happens when you don't agree with it? Are you going to still support it?
I will support them exercising their freedom of speech by
Right,
blocking me from saying something that they object to. The same reason I can't go on Club Penguin and start cussing, because Club Penguin is for kids. They exercise their same freedom of speech.
Okay,
Facebook
so let's
is
be
for Americans.
Clear about something. Let's be clear
theoretically.
about something. It's not freedom of speech. Okay, whenever you're dealing with a private entity, a private company, it's not freedom of speech. Okay, that's why there's agreements and EULAs and all this other stuff. It's never been freedom of speech. People think it is. It's not. The only time freedom of speech really applies is when you're dealing with the government directly. They're the ones that can't suppress freedom of speach. Private companies can do it all the time. So stop saying freedom of speech. It's not a freedom of speech issue. It's the fact that they are manipulating streams based on whatever agenda they feel is, they want to support. So you're saying you're completely okay with that. You're saying that's their right as a company to do that.
I got okay with that years ago when I realized that they are an advertising platform that makes money by selling my information to advertisers. If I continue to use their platform, I have to accept that they're doing things I disagree with my information. And if they change the way that they're using my information by blocking it or altering it or presenting it in a way I didn't intend to other people, then I reassess my relationship with the service and either discontinue it or continue it. Yeah, Facebook. We've talked in the past about how dynamic Facebook is, and they make changes all the time to their algorithms. I get ads for dating sites on my Facebook, and I just ignored them for a while, and then I finally said, I don't want dating sites on my Facebook feed. I said, don't show me these ads; they're inappropriate for me, and they stopped showing up. To me, that's.
So, I'm curious, Eric. I understand where you're coming from. Are you saying you're against them blocking this, or what is your take?
I'm saying that people looking at Facebook as an authoritative source is wrong, and we shouldn't be doing it. The news medias, people in general are always using Facebook as a reference for stories, for events. Facebook themselves, and Twitter for that matter, start to promote themselves as, hey, we're the new media. We're real-time media. If you want to get stories as they're happening, as they're breaking, this is where you want to go. I think that's wrong now. I don't agree with that, and we shouldn't be doing it because of this. Now,
but that is what they've been doing since they started.
Of course, it's a weird thing because I'm on board with you guys. I'm supporting it. I'm like, hey, this is good. So the thing that really got me thinking about this the most is I used to be a real supporter of government, right? And like, hey, I never do anything wrong. So if the government wants to do this or that, I don't care. I'm not doing anything wrong. It's not a big deal. And that's. But you're doing the same thing with Facebook.
I disagree with that.
Wait, let me stop. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you, because I realize that that's an opinion you have as long as you're at ease with the government that's in place. I've realized recently that when you're not at ease with the government in place, all of a sudden you don't want to have that stuff. You realize why we have our freedoms, why our freedoms are defined the way they're defined. And I'm good with that. Okay, I understand that. My problem is, and again, I see it all the time, how often Facebook and Twitter and these services, these companies are being used as these media outlets, as these news sources. And you see something like this, it's like, okay, so what's to say in another year or two, Facebook manipulates it so that we never even see those stories? Like, you don't know they're even happening. They think they're protecting us. They're like a parent with a child. They think they're protecting them by completely blocking them, but what they're really doing is hurting us. Right?
Well, that's the problem of a single source of information.
And they're already doing that. They're already filtering your feed. You don't see everything coming in. So, well, I understand where you're coming from, and it's so hard because I think it's a case by case basis. What they're saying is they don't want this hateful speech on their platform, and I'm okay with that. This is pure hate.
Mhm.
This isn't necessarily a left-right thing. It's not a
And like I
political.
said, it's well, but it is to a degree. It is a left right thing to a degree, right? Because there is obviously a population of this country, which I am coming to realize is larger than I initially thought, that agree with it. So it's not as black and white of, hey, we're right, they're wrong, because they think they're right.
Unfortunately, I think that group got caught up in this conservative movement. I think there's plenty of conservative people that think that this group is wrong. I mean, I know that for a fact. So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's a political thing. I don't think it's a left-right political movement as much as there's these groups that should not have a voice. What they are spewing is just hateful and wrong and need to be stopped.
I think it is a politics as power, not politics as opinion issue. When you see the people who are politicians, they have shaped their life to put them in the position that they are in so that they can achieve their personal goals as well as stable income and raising a family, et cetera, et cetera. There is a situation that can arise where their fundamental opinions are challenged, but they are scared to express that because it might sacrifice their entire career. Politicians are fundamentally people and are scared of the same things that all people are scared of. And when a Republican is asked directly on MSNBC, will you openly state that you no longer support the president? He's given very little choice but to say, he is our president, we have to support him.
Yeah. I see where everyone's coming from, but we got off on this. This show got off to a really doom and gloom start. Let's
It's not my fault. Oh, I'm sorry. Entirely my fault. Yep. Yeah.
Doom and gloom to start. What? See, this is how we end it, not how we start the show.
Well, you might not have noticed, but I've actually, you guys have stopped putting cards up on the board. And so I've started putting the doom and gloom higher and higher up in the show notes so that it's the first thing we get.
I don't even have the cards open right now. I'm glad you reminded me to open that up. I open, so.
Most
You'll
of the
notice
people
that every card there's
don't normally hear this stuff because they normally listen to the beginning and like they get halfway and like, I'm done. Turn it off. They don't get to the doom and gloom.
Well, so here's the problem. If they've turned it off now, they're going to miss out on some like cool insider trading stuff that we have. We have like some insider information.
Really?
Yeah.
So
there's been a lot of talk lately and we've been trying not to bring it up on the show until it's been confirmed
in public, but it's like I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how much longer I can hold out. I think it might be time to spill the beans on this one.
Wonder if there's any anyone has any clue as to what we're talking about.
I do.
You do?
What do you think?
No, I was playing the Stooge, but
Yeah?
I heard about it.
Oh. Well, shit. I guess if Thomas knows, I guess we can let everybody know.
Sure. There's actually something new coming out. There's a PHP podcast coming out.
Really?
But yeah.
It's going to be the official PHP architect podcast.
Is that what you're thinking, Thomas?
Is that what you heard about?
We'll say yes. That is exactly what I was thinking, and I was invited and had to decline.
Invited where?
I don't know.
PHP Architect, the magazine, is coming out with a podcast. And you want to know what's really weird?
What is weird?
Eric
John and I are
hosting
hosting
it.
it.
Why are you two hosting? You guys, you already have another podcast. Wait,
I think
Are you
Eric's obsessed with podcasts.
are you just firing me and this is a nice way of doing it?
No, this
No.
podcast is way more fun than the other one's going to be. But
The other podcast consisted. We actually did our first recording. We haven't released it yet. We're fine tuning the format. Actually, we're not even settled on the format. We're fine tuning the first episode, but it's all of like, I think John and I's piece is all of 5 minutes, where we just talk about what's in the upcoming issue. So if you're not familiar with PHP Architect, it's a magazine. It's a long running PHP magazine in the industry. They're the ones that behind the PHP Tech Conference and PHP World Conference. So
PHP,
they've
and
been
Coder Cruise.
Coder Cruise, yeah. So they've been in publication. I couldn't even tell you how long. I know back in, I think, as early as 2000, I was getting the magazine. They
Probably
do
something
both,
you should know if you're going to represent him.
they do both digital and print. They're back to print. And this year, John and I went to PHP Tech in Atlanta this year, and just kind of said, "Hey, why don't you guys have a podcast?" And they were just like, we really want to do one.
We don't know the right people. And we're like, hey, we happen to know the right people.
And you said, hey, you haven't heard our podcast, right? And they said, no, we haven't. You said, perfect. We're your guys.
That's almost exactly how that conversation went. It's like, yeah, no, we do a podcast. Really? Well, maybe you can do ours. Sure. Podcast, have you?
That would probably be the first person who's ever heard that we have a podcast and said, that's a great idea. We should use you guys for a podcast too.
For our company that makes money with our product. Yeah, let's put you guys on air. Yeah, so it's cool. It's just once a month. Like I said, John and I will do like a 5 to 6, 7, 8 minute bit where we just review the articles that are being published. If you don't have a subscription to it, it doesn't. I mean, it's your opportunity to listen what's coming out, and think maybe you want to buy, because I think you can buy issue by issue. But it's really worth, if at very least, getting the digital copy. If you do PHP development for a living, I mean, it's just worth. Make sure you subscribe with my referral code, because that's how they're paying us.
Are you gonna drop like hints like, we've got a real ugly list of stories for you PHPers today? I guess that would not be too positive.
It actually sounded very I don't know. It was different.
We
it was like
we went a different route. We tried scripting, or Eric scripted the first episode, which I didn't know he's going to do. And then all of a sudden he has the script, and we tried it out.
How could you not know he was going to do that? Because he's started doing that to this show. He's built that. He has started scripting that intro sequence into longer and longer segments.
Oh, the intro.
Describing the history of baseball and.
Whatever. You guys love it.
I'm just hit with a wave of emotion about this right now.
A wave? Why did you say wave?
Why are you?
It's a wave of emotion.
Wave a lot.
It's a colloquialism.
What is
I'm
wave?
not sure if you've heard a wave of emotion.
But
I don't know.
Why did you even bring that up?
It just seems like it's been in the collective subconscious lately.
Oh, wave. That reminds me of something.
Is there something else?
John and I spent a wave of cash today.
Oh my goodness. So
what'd you buy?
What we're really hoping is that we have a lot of listeners on the show that will tweet out at us if they're interested in this or not. For probably 5 years now, Eric and I have been talking about putting on a PHP conference here in San Diego. and we finally
but
are
that would
making
never
it happen.
What?
Finally happening. The wave is
You're-
crashing finally.
No, the wave doesn't crash. That's bad. We don't want the PHP conference to crash.
That's true. It works though.
It's
Surface
done
like-
compiling.
I think.
We signed our contract today with a hotel here in lovely San Diego. Not only this is going to be the best conference anywhere. It's the best. Not only do we have a nice hotel here in San Diego, it is literally, I don't say that figuratively. When I say literally, I mean it literally on the beach. It's on the freaking beach. It's a private beach.
Private beach.
It's a private beach.
Hotel.
Doesn't that make us sound a little too hoity-toity?
So
No, it's not hoity-toity at all.
Come to our conference in San Diego on our private beach.
yes.
Okay, fine.
How awesome is
Whatever. If it gets people to show up, I'm good with that.
Did you check on this hotel's golden showers policy?
Why are we
they
going
strictly
there?
prohibit that.
Oh, try to stay focused here,
I'm
Thomas.
trying to provide information to the potential attendants.
Oh my god! They have seals though. They have real living seals on the grounds.
They have two
They
rescue
can't-
seals.
They can't
That are
see
both
you. They're
blind.
blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they're there. But yeah,
You saying this hotel blinded some seals for tourists?
no, they rescued seals who were blind. Come on, man.
Our
They're blind.
our meeting space is the entire top floor of the hotel. Not of the entire hotel, but of this specific building.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this. It's been a long time coming.
It's a gorgeous facility. I mean, it's like, I don't know if you can picture where this is, Thomas. I know you're from San Diego. It's walking distance from Belmont Park, so it's almost across the street from Belmont Park, which has this wooden roller coaster and all these rides. It has the big public tourist beach where if you come to San Diego, the chances are you're going to Mission Beach, which is where this is. But this hotel, the Bahia Hotel, which is where we signed the contract with, is just off. It's on the bay. It has the water to the beach and private beach, and it's cool. They have all these cool things.
Yeah, if you're listening now, please follow us at WavePHP. Let us know if you're interested in this, how excited you are. The dates are actually going to be September 19th through the 21st of 2018. So we're still over a year away.
Right. So we're just, like I said, we just signed the contract where we're going to start to put together the pricing for the tickets, early bird pricing for the tickets. So if this is something that interests you, you're going to want to keep an eye out for the early bird pricing. If you have a company or something, we're definitely looking for sponsors. So that should be cool. But yeah, finally a PHP conference in Southern California. I'm so excited. I had to do it myself, but I got it here. So we'll see how it goes. This may be the first and last. We don't know yet, but yeah, it's gonna be fun stuff.
Depends on how much cash we end up bleeding.
You know what a good sponsor would be?
It's a lot.
You know what a good sponsor would be?
What?
Casper Mattresses, the internet's
Stop
number
it.
one mattress.
You stop talking about your mattress. But if they are willing to send us some money, we may.
It's not my mattress. I don't have one yet. I'm trying to get one.
Where
Shut
did
up.
this all come from?
I need a mattress.
So listen to me. This is serious. So this is all the stuff that we've been doing at Diego Dev, and it has been so incredibly stressful. I can't. So the PHP Architect, doing the podcast for PHP Architect hasn't been that stressful. It's actually been. It turned out to be a little bit more work. I think it was more work putting together that podcast than it is putting together any of the other podcasts I work with, including this one. But why do you keep walking away? I'm trying to talk to you. Thomas, you've walked away again. I don't have that much filler. Thomas. I'm trying to share with you how hard we've been working, Thomas. What's happening?
There was not even a warning on this one. All right,
He's
since we're
done it
breaking, I'm breaking too.
What the hell? What's going on here? Why am I? Oh my goodness. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the section of the show where you watch Eric drink scotch.
Where'd John go?
Where'd you go?
I
You
have to
keep
keep
walking
no,
away.
I have to keep my wife entertained while I'm doing the podcast, and she can't get Netflix working. So
We gotta wait for John to get back now. You're gonna have fun editing this one.
I am. I'm gonna try and get it edited tomorrow.
Oh my god, I just realized something.
What?
Oh my god. I don't have my recording going. I have the group backup recording going, but I don't have my individual recording going.
You don't have any recording at all?
Whoa, where'd that come from?
John, he walked out of his Bluetooth range.
No, I don't have any record. I mean, I have the group recording, so you might just have to use my group recording if Zencaster isn't working.
I might have to pull it from the YouTube video then.
Well, that's what my recording is doing. It's doing all of our streams.
Okay, should be
I
fine
can't
then.
believe-
Give me one. I'll be right back. TV problems.
Okay, well. Eric drinking more scotch.
Could you start your local recording now?
Sure can.
Well, I'll throw you a clap check.
All right, clap check. 3, 2, 1. All right.
Yeah, that should cover us. Hey, John. Hey, John.
But John, your headset's not working.
His baby.
John, we're coming through your speakers. Motherfucker.
You guys. Okay. I muted you. I can't hear you.
His
but I
wife is
muted
gonna
you.
kill us.
My kids are sleeping, fuckers.
Sleeping well on beautiful Casper mattresses.
I don't know how to change my my shit bag.
Are you back?
Nope.
I said I bet they're beautiful when they sleep.
You're not sounding right.
I give up. Show must be over.
Let's wrap it up.
Why don't you guys just get corded headphones? This
can't-
wireless stuff
I
is
can't hear you guys.
always a problem. Did he forget that he muted us?
What
He
is
muted
this?
us, connected his headphones, and then didn't unmute us.
Of course I can hear you fuckers. You guys are assholes.
You don't need to hear us to know that. That's a given.
That's true. Okay.
All right. Are we ready to go again?
No.
So,
What were we talking about?
you guys were talking about
PHP.
how stressful it is doing PHP
Oh,
Wave, brought to you by Casper.
So, quiet. So this is the type of stuff that we've been doing over at Diego Dev for probably the last. It's like our little skunk work projects where we've been kind of flying under the radar with them, not telling anybody or talking about it a whole lot. The stuff we're doing with the PHP Architect podcast, that just happened to stumble onto us, and we're like, yeah, we'll take advantage of that. I think we're both John and I. Well, John, John, he's been a contributor to PHP Architect. He's been a speaker at their conference, so it was a natural fit for him. I've always just kind of been on that outside knocking on the doors, like, hey, can you guys use me for anything? So I was super happy
to
to
buy a subscription.
I've had a subscription for years.
I know. We used to give them out at the meetup.
Uh-huh. And then this
Used
Wave
to.
thing, though, dude, the Wave PHP thing is just good. It's going to be so stressful for the next year. We need sponsors. We need sponsors to give us money to make this less stressful.
We need sponsors and we need attendees. We need people that want to come out to San Diego.
No, I don't care about
Yeah,
the
San Diego's a
attendees.
real hard sell.
I want sponsors and I want speakers. If you're interested in speaking, keep an eye out for Call for Papers. You'll potentially get a free flight and hotel to San Diego. So,
Hey, we haven't talked about the sponsorship package yet, or not
No, we're
sponsorship,
not.
but the speaker package.
package?
Yet. What are you doing?
no flight and hotel to San Diego.
No,
I think that would be
people will
Does-
pay to come speak for us.
Does Greyhound
you know
do
that.
flights?
people will pay us to speak at our conference. That's awesome. I like that idea. I like where you're going with that, John.
See, I'm here for
So, yeah.
it.
It's about the conference is about a couple miles from SeaWorld, about 500 yards from Belmont Park. You guys are gonna love it, man. We're just settling on some kind of fine details, and we're gonna get a website up here in the next couple of months that will start to draw the picture for everybody, and we'll include some.
We're hoping
marketing
people are going to want to
photos.
come out, bring their families, stay at least through the weekend, and enjoy San Diego while they're here.
Right. So that was the big conversation John and I had, was the timing. So we had a couple of dates available to us, and our thinking was we really wanted the conference to end on a Friday to give the opportunity of people who might come out with their families or their partners or whoever it is they come out with, and say, hey, we're here in San Diego. Conference is over. Let's just stay a couple of days and continue to enjoy the good food and nice weather. Now, we'll have like some major storm or something.
Yeah. Well, it is going to be
Stop.
September,
Wait,
so it get as low as 72.
that's Thomas's field right there, the doom and gloom. So stop it, Eric.
So Thomas,
And special announcement here, I will be attending this conference as well. So if you want to meet me and talk to me about Casper mattresses, I will be available. I will be available. Okay,
Hey,
so what about a PHP Ugly roundtable thing where people can watch us do this terrible podcast live?
We're gonna be too busy actually running the conference. I don't know we'll have time to do a podcast.
So you can see me live on stage 3.
I was gonna say maybe that's where we introduce the Doom and Gloom podcast with Thomas Rideout, and it's sponsored by Casper Mattress.
I don't know if they'd want their name tied to that.
When you feel like it's your last days on Earth, but you want a good rest, reach out to Casper Mattress.
It's an excellent place to just lay down and think about death.
Wow.
Oh man, absolutely. All right, so
I feel like-
those are our
I feel
big
like we-
announcements.
Is the website up?
To recap, hot dogs have like 110 calories. Neo-Nazism is bad. We're going to be hosting a PHP Architect monthly podcast that does a
Called
review of
PHP
their
Podcast.
Which is
called
good.
PHP Podcast, which is good. And we will be hosting the Southern California's premier PHP conference.
Called Wave
PHP.
PHP. Yep.
Wave PHP. I was getting there. No, the website isn't up.
Always other than Wave.
We were, like I said, we're settling on a few details. One of the details we're settling on is actually a logo. And listen, I may be partial here. I may be like my views may be slanted. Facebook may like edit me out because they don't agree with me. But I'm going to say right now, we have a badass logo. I think we have. I'm going to say we have the best logo, the best PHP
The
conference
bestest logos that beat any other logo.
It is not
Ever-
the surfing. It's not the
in
surfing elephant, is it?
PHP and
Yes,
PHP.
we went with the
in Southern
cartoony one.
California. So Thomas is playing stupid, but Thomas has been in on this for a very long. He didn't know about the PHP Architect podcast, but he did know about Wave PHP because he got a preview of some of the logos we were looking at. Here's the funny thing about that, Thomas. When John and I put those logos together, we were like, hey, these all look good. That particular logo you're talking about, which the one Thomas is talking about, was really stood out from the rest of the logos because it was very like comic-y. It was cartoony, is what we kept calling it. It's very cartoony, but it was funny because as John and I looked at it, it's like, you know what? That's like a conference logo. Like that's like a logo I would expect to see at a conference. So
Not a business logo, a conference logo.
exactly. So we put together a little poll and we sent it out to a bunch of friends and we said, hey, of all these logos, can you vote on them? And I honestly didn't expect anybody to vote for the cartoon logo as number one. But like I was telling John, I think everybody would have various number ones, but I think the cartoon logo would be consistent at like a number 2 or number 3 spot where everybody was picking it as number 2, number 3. Yeah, nobody. Everybody hated that logo. Nobody liked it at all.
Yeah, I think that's a classic problem though, is that when you stare too long at something, you start to lose the details. You start to lose that objectivity. And I immediately saw that logo and it was like seeing a rat in a 7-Eleven. You're like, that's the one that doesn't belong here. That is a no.
So
I
I
don't
think
know. I still thought it was
think
pretty cool.
We haven't settled on the final logo, but there's a good chance we're
I
actually
think
going
we
to settle
have. I think we have.
for the one from tonight.
Yeah.
You think?
Oh yeah.
All right. So the final logo, then, Thomas, you actually haven't seen.
Is it like a, I don't know, what is it?
No, I mean you've seen a variation of it. I'll tell you that much, but you haven't seen the final logo.
Yeah,
Are you
so I
talking
know,
about
I know.
80?
I know what
83?
you're talking about. Yeah.
Are you talking about 83, John?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I'm liking that one too. I wasn't sure if you were gonna like that. I wasn't sure if you were gonna like that because I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't exactly fit, but it does kind of fit.
We're like beating around the bush with everybody, and it's hard to describe it. But Eric and I were sitting together this morning, and he's like, "What if we took this logo and got him to work the elephant in this section?" I'm like, "That's not going to work." To me, it works.
Perfect. We've got our logo, so we must. So it's cool, man. So yeah, we'll tweet out the logo. We'll put the logo up on our Wave PHP Twitter handle. Wave PHP
At Wave PHP.
Twitter. At Wave PHP. We'll put it up there. We need to finalize and sign the the contract to use the logo, but I think we have our logo. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. It would be an honor to speak at the conference, but I know there's a long and arduous process.
We're looking for quality people.
Yeah, so if none show up, I'm willing to sit in as a filler speaker.
It is a good idea to have backup speakers because people do cancel last second.
That's true. You're going to want to be in this general San Diego area.
Just come on in, take a seat.
All right. So feel free to tweet at, if you're curious about anything we talked about here, the PHP Architect podcast. I don't know why you'd be curious about that. It's pretty self-explanatory. But if you're curious about Wave PHP, at Wave PHP is the Twitter handle. We'll start posting some stuff up there. Obviously, you can tweet at John or myself, and probably Thomas at some point will convince him to be on the board in some form or fashion.
The board, get it? The surfboard. Thanks for listening, guys. It's been great. I'm Tom Rideout.
Oh man,
got ahead of myself.
Have we talked about anything yet?
No,
we haven't talked about anything on our list yet.
We don't even know if the first half of the show's been recorded, John.
That's true.
Tell him that. No, he didn't hear that part.
All right, let's actually talk about some news.
Boom, boom, boom. Let's hit my cards. If anyone else has a card on here that they put on first and want to get to it first, nope. Looks like I put all the cards on.
Okay, so I want to talk about.
We had a couple of big cards there. We just didn't put them on the board for you.
Oh, gotcha.
So hey, watch this. Hey, check it out. Listen. Hey, Google, call John Congdon.
Stop. My kids are sleeping.
Emergency calls aren't available from Google Home. And when you're done, tell me to hang up or tap the tab for Google Home. Now let's get started again. Mobile or home?
Mobile.
Calling John Congdon. Mobile.
Don't worry, this won't provide any feedback loops, and no one in the editing department will have to worry about it at all.
Stop. Don't worry, I'm hanging up on them.
Did you hang up on me?
Perfect.
Of course I did.
You hung up on me earlier.
No, I just didn't answer you earlier. I was outside with my kids, and it came through as private. It came through as private caller. So I had no clue it was you.
You hung up on me.
Again,
You're a mean person.
Again, I did not know it was you.
Don't leave a message. Hey, I'm leaving a message. All right, now we're going to leave a message for John Congdon. John, we're recording a show, and you did not answer the call.
Hey, wait. Did you change something? Because this time it said it was you. Last time it said it was private number.
Yeah, I did. So there's actually a setting where you can tell it to use your Google Voice number to identify yourself.
Ah.
I didn't read that.
Yeah,
So that's a feature that it needs, though. Now, so what Eric is getting at here is that Google Home can now call within the United States and Canada for free. You just hook it up to your account and it gets your contacts and stuff, and then boom. But I would love to see if it said to you, the person you're calling is available but chose not to talk to you.
No, well, yeah, it said something. Didn't you hear her? She was like, "They're not available." Basically, is what.
So I wanted to say he is available. He picked up his phone, saw who was calling, and then hung up.
So this seems again direct attack on the Amazon's feature of being able to call people. I mean, this home automation, home assistant. Google seems to be dragging behind a little bit, but man, they're not giving up the fight, man. They continue to try to make their little Google Home Assistant relevant. How do you guys feel about that?
I love it. This is the cyberpunk future I've been expecting for a while.
I've had a Google Home Assistant, and it's actually not plugged in right now.
I definitely use I definitely use Alexa. Now, Alexa, I have several Alexas throughout the house, so I use Alexa a lot more. Google is in my office. I do think I'm going to start using it. There is an option where you can tell it to, you can ask it, how's your day? And you can do something similar on Alexa where it'll give you your calendars and all that, but eventually it'll drop into news and start reading you some curated news lists that you have to find. I actually stumbled back through that when I was looking at the call feature today, because I'm like, how did it know what number to call from? And I opened up the app on my phone, and that's when I saw, you could choose your Google Voice number or keep it as private. And by default, it's private. So
what I like about the Google Home Assistant is it's obviously a Google product, and most of my ecosystem is around Android and the Google ecosphere. I don't know if I just made up a word or not, but I said it.
No, it works.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure.
Whatever.
Hey,
So
is ecosphere a word? Yeah, she's not even going to respond. She's like, you're an
No.
idiot.
why is it a she?
It's a female
Do you
voice.
not hear her? Do you not hear her?
So anyway, so I need to.
Hey, Google. You like
Why
me?
do you entice him this way? Because you know what he's gonna do.
Yes.
I don't know.
Definitely a she.
Yeah.
So,
So I
need-
like this.
I was gonna say I need to get back
John's
into it
talking.
I need to get back into it just because I use Google products and it's more conducive than Alexa, who's trying to tie into all the products. Next.
Yeah, and part of Google's Home product line is actually this multiple endpoint Wi-Fi system, and I see this very easily getting integrated into that eventually, so that there are many of these things throughout the house. There are Wi-Fi repeaters, and your phone doesn't need cellular coverage as long as you're inside the house. Potentially removing a chip and a service provider from the picture, and
Yeah.
generally making things.
So
I mean, I hate.
I think Google Assistant and perhaps Alexa too, they're supposed to be able to identify people now by their voice. So you're supposed to be able to have. I thought they were supposed to be able to have multiple profiles, but I can't figure out how to set that up on either one of those devices.
I know that Amazon is trying to do that, but it is nowhere near ready for production release.
I'm almost positive I saw that is a feature right now in Google Assistant. But
Oh, well,
maybe I'm wrong.
You'll have to listen to next week's episode to find out.
It's definitely
Right.
not in Amazon Alexa, because Grayson is just now starting to be able to say enough. Like one out of maybe 1,000 times he tries to get Alexa to do something, it actually does it. But it's so cute to watch him try.
Yeah, well, you have adorable children because they're not teenagers yet, so revel in it while you can.
He's now climbing out of his crib.
That you
That's
know
fun.
of. So he's either really smart or not smart enough to climb out of his crib.
No, he's yes, both. He's smart, but he's a cautious child. He's safe. My other kid, Nolan, he's a climber. He'll climb on anything. It's like, stop.
You gotta get him declawed so they won't do that.
Thought about it. Get their wings
so
flipped.
further on in the news, the final beta version of PHP 7.2 has been released as of today, the recording of this episode. The next release will be in approximately 2 weeks, and it will be the first release candidate. So I believe the first out of 2 release candidates until they go final.
Nice.
So I think we're looking at PHP 7.2 in just around a month.
Meanwhile, I was on 5.6.31 on one of our projects recently, and they downgraded to 5.6.27.
Why such a specific downgrade?
Because that's what they were on before going to 3.1. And
They didn't want support for a very specific function.
something happened, and they don't know if it was the upgrade, the new version or not. So that's now the test. They downgraded just to see if that caused the issue.
Well, one of the big new features of 7.2, as we've been touting here on the podcast for a while, is the first modern cryptographic library in a programming language, libsodium. And there was a wonderful announcement.
Well, wait,
on
it's not the first. It's not the first modern cryptography program. PHP is the first one to have it as part of their core.
as part of their core package.
Right. That's yeah.
So libsodium, which is I believe managed by a company called Private Internet Access, gave the source code to a cryptographic engineering company to review and audit for security, and the audit has come back and they say, quote unquote, overall we believe that libsodium is a carefully implemented secure cryptographic library. So we've got the sign off on the logic, and it really sounds like libsodium is going to be the next big thing for secure communication on the internet in general. The end. You guys should do some improv classes. You can yes and me anytime you want to.
Yes, and.
Yes, and.
So I had put a ticket on here that I thought was supposed to be the main conversation for tonight's podcast. We are 1 hour and 3 minutes into recording.
No, we're not. We took breaks.
Straight up. Right. No, but it's been an hour. So now I'm gonna have to listen to 2 hours of podcast to edit this down to like the 50 minutes it's supposed to be.
I'm tweeting on the Wave PHP handle now. Our first tweet.
Sweet.
Your second tweet.
Is it our second? Pretty sure
you retweeted something first.
Did I retweet something? Okay.
Wave PHP
at Wave PHP.
The Wave PHP channel was given to us by somebody who owned it years ago, did nothing with it, and luckily I found the owner and they were willing to give it to us, so I was happy about that.
So there's
fun fact. It was almost called Surf PHP, but we couldn't get surfphp.com. We only got surfphp.net. So it's now called Wave PHP. I'm sorry, Thomas. You see,
you're pulling the curtains back way too far.
Ew.
Thomas, are you tapping your desk?
No, I'm not.
That's
because I think the tap method is stupid.
So do I.
A lot of coverage this week for.
Are you serious? Are you serious? What you're saying right now? You don't like the tap method?
I hate it. I hate it. I hate everything about it because it has way too much traction in the community right now.
It does. I hear about it everywhere.
I have to preface this. I love Matt Stauffer's work. I love his articles. He is eloquent, well written, everything. I think he is way off on this tap method. I think
his article just talks about what it is. What do you mean he's way off?
He gives what he calls good examples of where to use it.
Those weren't so good.
No.
I don't see the benefit of them.
Here's the gist of it: is that tap is a method that takes two values. The first value being a literal quote unquote value, and the second being a callback, which executes the first argument and returns it.
It calls a callback with that value and then returns the value.
Right. So if you're aware of what anonymous functions are, this is just literally turning anonymous functions into a black box.
No, because a lot of the examples that were given were passing anonymous functions into a function to be run.
Right. which makes
I
it a
didn't
black
get it.
box because the implication here is that it's doing some work when the reality is it's just an organizational technique, and it's not even an especially good one.
Okay, wait a minute. Time out. Take a step back. For anybody
Okay.
listening to this show, if you're a PHP developer, we are speaking specifically about Laravel at this point. There's this new tap function. Well, it's not new. It's been in PHP. It's been in
5.3.
Laravel since 5.3. It's gotten this new higher order tap functionality that's coming to 5.5. So
And
it's all the rage. A lot of Laravel blogs talking about it. Taylor, Adam Wathan, Matt Stauffer, the big wigs in the PHP. God damn it, the big wigs in the Laravel community have been touting this tap method for a while, and it's kind of a kooky thing.
It isn't just Laravel, because the tap method has been exported as a library you can now include in your non-Laravel project, which it's 3 fucking lines. It's 3 lines.
So, yeah. The funny thing about that, I added that link, Thomas. Look at the examples. He's just encapsulating whatever
It's
function.
infantile.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. And I don't know why this is getting traction. And I've read several articles that are like, this is the next great thing. And all I see is horrifically obfuscating something that is already incredibly simple.
Wait. No. They have tests in this code base, so it means it's good.
Yeah. And my real issue with the article that Matt Stauffer wrote is that he calls temporary variables a code smell. And he says, if you see yourself creating temporary variables to access things, that's a code smell. But in his own examples, he's creating temporary variables for things that are easily chained. And in the high order version of the tap method, all it's doing is fixing an area in Eloquent where it should have been properly chaining its result, but it didn't. So update returns a Boolean true or false instead of the object that it updated. It incorrectly chains, and you can use the tap method to fix that. That is not a proper design process. If there's a problem with what's being returned, fix what's being returned. Don't create a new method that black boxes the whole thing so that you can chain it when you're not supposed to. And one of the examples here creates a temporary variable in an anonymous function, and then returns the temporary variable, where in less lines of code, in fewer lines of code, you could just return the direct method call. I do not understand why people think this is a great new thing. It's literally 3 lines of code that calls the second argument with the first argument as its only argument. It's so frustrating to see this.
I'm glad
Because
I'm not the only
now-
one that thought this.
Now someone who knows PHP doesn't know what the fuck this tap thing is. And what it is an anonymous function being called with a variable. And if you're using anonymous functions so much that you need a method to manage them, you are using anonymous functions too much. You need to address the problem at the core.
So in the example you're talking about, they tapped an object just to get back the object, so they're not actually passing in a callback just to chain the method.
Right. And let's understand here that PHP is a tokenized language, so temporary variables hold literally 1 byte of space in active memory, and it is a pointer to the source object that was called. This doesn't do anything for performance. It doesn't do anything for memory. It doesn't do anything for organization or clarity. all it does is obfuscate anonymous functions in some bizarre new way.
Mhm.
Actually,
And-
doesn't it make the process doesn't it make it worse because when you call a function, isn't it copy? Doesn't it
Yes,
copy
because
the
a function
rows?
takes up far more space. If you duplicate an anonymous function, like you do in TAP, it creates a new memory space for the copy of the anonymous function.
Mhm.
So it very easily could be a performance hit to use this thing. I want to see a tokenized breakdown of an example on this page because I do think that it is a performance hit using this.
Versus a boost, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And really the lesson that this should be is understand method chaining, write your objects to use proper method chaining,
If you want that.
understand how method chaining affects readability. Don't obfuscate something absolutely unnecessarily. I read the whole article several times and just said, why though?
Now I don't feel
This-
so bad because when you added the card to our Trello board, I'm reading through. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't like it, and shared that. And I thought I was gonna sound really stupid on the show. So
No, and I told you I would take
kinda
the stupid
blindsided
airtime.
me as well. Yeah.
I wasn't going to mention this, but when I pulled up the week's top stories on Reddit in the PHP discussions, TAP was heavily covered. 3 or 4 of the top articles of the week were about TAP. And I think it's a terrible idea and it creates more problems than it solves.
Mm-hmm.
There's an
I
example.
don't know if it creates problems, but it definitely makes. I think the problem it's trying to solve, as far as making code more readable, it doesn't accomplish that. Like John said, if you know PHP and you came in to look at that code, it would completely confuse you.
Yeah. And just the example of the high order usage here is that TAP is different than each or pipe because TAP doesn't modify the original collection that it's called on. But it's like it also doesn't output anything. So if it was supposed to modify something,
wait,
it
that's
wouldn't
not
have.
true though. It depends
does
on what you pass
return.
in as an anonymous function.
In
Right.
the high order version of this, where it ties into collections, the output is dropped completely.
What do you mean the output? It returns the collection.
No.
What are you talking about?
The TAP returns
Yeah,
the original method that it was called upon, like the last method before it. It pipes the results of its previous calling method directly to output without whatever modifications occurred to the collection included. I don't see a use case. I don't see helpfulness.
All right, so nobody likes TAP. Let's move on. We beat this horse. We beat this horse. You guys, Thomas especially, you actually let me off easy. I just realized that. You called me out on Slack for propagating fake news, but
Oh yes.
yeah. So I sent out a tweet based on a post I saw on Reddit, which I then clicked on, followed through, and like, hey, wow, look at this. But I didn't completely confirm it clearly. There was a post on Reddit yesterday that said that Laravel 5.5 was released. I clicked on the link. Sure enough, I ended up on the Laravel page with the 5.5 documentation. Everything was there. It was live. I hit the little drop down. It didn't, it showed in the drop down like, oh, cool. 5.5 got released. I've been using 5.5 for a while. I've been using the dev branch for a while. So I was like, this is cool. Typically, and Taylor had been announcing that he wasn't releasing 5.5 until Laravel EU, which is happening at the end of this month. but I thought maybe, I don't know, for whatever reason he released it early. I'm like, hey, this is a nice little gift. And I sent out a tweet and said, hey, check it out. 5.5's been released. And about a minute and a half later, Taylor responds, no, it hasn't.
I
Well,
love
Laravel
how
News
straight
replied.
he is when he replies to you too.
What-
I mean,
did-
I think he clearly recalls his relationship with SDPHP and just sees us as a necessary evil at this point.
so did Taylor reply or did Laravel News that replied?
No, Taylor directly
bo-
replied.
They both replied. Yeah, they both
Oh,
replied.
Okay, see now I missed.
So-
Hold on, I want to see the exact tweet because I remember seeing it and thinking, "Yikes, that's cold."
All he said is it has not been released.
Yes. I'm like, okay.
That's- But I loved your tweet. Gets an early release. Nice surprise. Thanks, Taylor. No, it hasn't.
We love you, Taylor. Shut up. No, it hasn't.
It has not been released. No capitalization or punctuation at all. Just like he's on his phone while eating, saw you tweet that, and felt he needed to correct you as fast as possible.
He must have listened to our last episode where we bashed Laracon.
Oh god.
That's why
I was
So,
worried about that.
So to clarify, Laravel 5.5 apparently hasn't been released.
you
I
can
have it on
install
pretty
it. You
good-
can use it.
No. To
Pretty good
clarify, the
authority.
Reddit post he linked on said Laravel 5.5 docs released.
No. Not so they changed that title. I'm telling you, I'm almost positive it said Laravel 5.5 released.
Believe
Maybe
me,
I'm wrong.
Bigly people.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it did say documentation, but whatever. Well, look at my retweet because I retweeted that because that's what I went back to. I'm like, shit, what did that other tweet say? And I went back to my retweet and I thought the retweet had preserved the original tweet.
No, the
Let's
link
see.
that you tweeted was just the link to the release notes for 5.5.
Well, yeah, that's all you can tweet to, right? I mean, that's all you can release it. So yeah, look at my retweet on. It doesn't have a time here, but on August 16th, from our Laravel, it says Laravel 5.5 officially released, and then it has a link to the release notes. So yeah, I mean, it was the documentation that it was linking to. What else is it going to link to? So the article. Now, if you click on that article now, or if you look at r/Laravel now on Reddit, it does say Laravel 5.5 documentation. But when the tweet was sent out, it didn't say that. It said Laravel 5.5 officially released, is what it said. So I should have seen I should have looked at who posted that on Reddit, and if it wasn't Taylor, just assume that there was something wonky. But even still, you click on the link.
Don't worry,
it takes
Taylor will let you know if you're wrong.
Yes, he was polite enough to let me know.
Polite.
So 5.5 has not been released, but you can still use it.
All right, so we're burning the candle at both ends, but I do have a surprise question for John here.
Surprised me.
Just
What's
John?
what's in the cryptocurrency news?
Freaking Bitcoin crossing 4,400.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? 4,400?
I know. I saw that, and for some reason, when I was seeing it, it was like registering in my mind. It's still like 3,400, and I'm like, wait, no, that's 1,000 more than I thought.
Yes, that is
That's
10% in 2 days.
That is insane.
Yeah,
That's insane. Wow.
I agree. I'm curious how long it'll hold that. Like I said, when I got into Bitcoin at 1,100, it crashed to 200. So, but it's still exciting.
I'm telling you that
yeah.
buy high, sell low tactics just not going to work out in the long run.
I more just want to see it succeed because I think it can. When I start talking to people that don't fully understand cryptocurrency or don't care to understand it, and are convincing me that it's not a good thing, and I'm like, just leave me alone.
Yeah, I think a lot of people see decentralized as a problem. They go decentralized, then how can anyone regulate it? And then you sort of go, yeah, how
Well,
no one can.
So the point of the people that I was talking to was the fact that everyone is comparing Bitcoin to the US dollar and not the other way around.
Right.
So their point is, when the US dollar is being compared to Bitcoin, then we can talk. But right now, you go to buy something, you're trying to figure out, what does this get me in US dollars?
Right.
And my
There's
point
a lot
was-
of people who say, let me know when it replaces our sovereign national currency. Then I'll invest in it.
But my point with that is, the same thing happens when you go abroad. If I go over to Europe and I exchange my US dollars for euro and I'm buying something, I'm curious what this is actually costing me in money I understand.
Mhm.
It doesn't really matter.
I mean, being here
It's the-
on the border of Mexico, I know that's actually a thing that people in TJ do, is they watch the exchange rate between the peso and the dollar, and based on what that is, I mean, it's just like Bitcoin. They'll either exchange for pesos or exchange for dollars, and continue to kind of build up that fund. So, you know, a peso, it's crazy. It's I mean, it's something that happens all the time. Is the difference between Bitcoin and these other currencies is that there's no sovereign country behind it. It's just this fake, not fake. I don't want to say fake, not fake. It's something that doesn't have any tangible thing behind it. There's no gold behind it. There's no
There's
government
no
saying,
gold
"Hey,
behind. There's nothing behind the US dollar either, and that's why I don't understand. Other than
there's a government
government-
behind it, though."
no, the government. All the
Mhm.
government says is, you have to accept this currency for whatever you're selling. But if I am selling a gallon of milk for $500, you have to give me $500 for it. The government is saying, outside of, you can't gouge somebody. Outside of that, they can't tell you what to sell something for.
Mhm.
You guys want to talk about the inherent flaws in the capitalist free market?
No,
Always.
no, don't have that much time. Please stop.
Bringing it full circle. Yeah,
Right.
Bitcoin Cash is, as far as I understand it, predictably tanking.
It's predictably tanking, but Coinbase, which is the exchange I use, is now going to start accepting it, or start exchanging for it next year.
Yeah, but they're a
So-
middleman. To them, they're in no position of risk because they're selling other people's possessed coins. They're not holding any.
But the good news for people that use Coinbase is, if you had Bitcoin there, you will, once they make it live, you will have the same number of coins you had in Bitcoin Cash. So they sent out, before the fork, they sent out an email saying, hey, if you want to participate in Bitcoin Cash, you better get your Bitcoins out of Coinbase, because we may not support it. Now that they're going to support it, you will have your Bitcoin Cash back.
Yeah, and I know that the blocks settled. SegWit 2 kicked in. The final block of the original SegWit chain got closed, and so now all trades are non-dupable. And there's a whole thing about how that works, and it's way above my pay grade. But I'm still enjoying this stuff. I'm still enjoying the information that I'm gleaning out of it.
I would still love to see. I like where Bitcoin Cash is going. Their whole thing is, they want to settle transactions faster. They want us to settle more transactions per second. Because if you start comparing to Visa, MasterCard, and American Express, they're doing whatever, thousands per second.
Yes. But Ethereum just announced Plasma.
Yeah.
So Plasma is a scaling solution that quote unquote could facilitate billions of transactions per second.
What? It's crazy.
Yeah. So I haven't really followed through on the Plasma stuff as far as I'd want to. But like I've said in previous podcasts, I still view Bitcoin the same way. It's the gold standard. It's hard to screw up. It's hard to manipulate. Things like Ethereum are the more dynamic formats of coin currency, and you'll see them as the more common daily trade currencies.
So Bitcoin is going to be the gold to Ethereum's US dollar.
Yeah, Ethereum will be the equivalent of a national, commonly traded, issued paper versus Bitcoin, which I think is an investor's sort of landscape.
Which I have Bitcoin. I'm not necessarily. Yes, I would love to see it as an investment and continue to grow, but I do want to see it stabilize at some point and become successful.
Hey guys, have you noticed how quiet I've gotten?
Not at all.
He's like, I just own a little bit of Bitcoin. Just leave me alone.
There's been an interesting trend, which is you're now actually being.
Is the wave of a trend?
It is a bit of a wave. The video card market has kind of been getting gouged because of all the people using video cards for mining, and so people who want to play video games are having a hard time getting video cards at reasonable prices. There's a lot of stores that are selling package deals. So you get one video card for retail price, 2 video cards for retail price for 2, and 3 and larger is $10,000 per card.
What?
It's a real thing. Is that the market's getting so gouged at this point that people who are concerned with consumer grade usage are putting restrictions on bulk purchases of video cards. This is happening. This was starting to happen on little shops that wrote jokes on signs, but then people started to see it and say, well, you know what? We actually should implement that because the consumers are getting really screwed right now. So AMD released its new Vega platform video card, which you could buy individually for, I believe, $700 or with a motherboard for $600. Because as a combo, you were paying for the video card plus the motherboard. As a standalone, when you don't need the motherboard, they wanted to punish you and say, you're using this for mining, aren't you? Get out of here.
But what do they care what their boards are being used for?
Well, because they're actually getting hit pretty hard. So AMD is producing these with an MSRP of $300, $350, $400, but when they get the actual market, they're being sold for literally double the price immediately. AMD is not making any money off of this price doubling, and for them, the marketing competition is that their prices are fair compared to NVIDIA's prices, which are also getting inflated, but NVIDIA's saying, no, they're not. They're more expensive. Look, you can't even buy one. So it's a marketing battle where they're not making the money that these prices are getting inflated up to, and they're not trying to bet on the coin industry. They're not trying to say these video cards are going to be worth $1,000 a piece, because at any moment, in their opinion, the mining industry could just crash. Everyone would sell their cards, and now their $1,000 card is worth $100, but they're still MSRPing it at $1,000. So it's real messy out there. If you want to buy a video card right now, yeah, too bad. It's the worst market you can imagine. And then the DDR memory that these cards are using just jumped in price by a huge amount as well. So nobody's happy.
Except you. You're always happy. Mr. Doom and Gloom.
When nobody's happy, yes.
Yeah.
I work on
several people's Yeah, exactly. Revel
Yeah.
in people's aura. Okay, I've had a lot to drink tonight.
Schadenfreude is
lot
my
to
middle
drink.
name.
I've had a lot to drink tonight.
What?
I gotta go.
I'm so
Are
confused
you
by
just
that.
bragging?
No,
Hey,
seriously.
Hey guys, I have
I've
had
drank
a
enough.
lot to drink tonight.
I've drank enough where my lips are numb. So that's like the indication of, I have to call an Uber to get home tonight. Which is
You
going to
are
be
home.
really
Do you
weird.
not know that you're at home?
This is what I'm saying, man.
You should
Okay.
call your daughter, ask her if she's your Uber driver, and then ask her to take you.
Turns out I'm not a very good Uber driver, according to Eric.
No.
Speaking of
John
which,
John only got like 2 stars from me today as an Uber driver. Was not happy. I'm like, I'm ready to go. We should go. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. What the hell?
2 stars, very disappointed. Pants remained on the whole time.
That's it. Whole time. All right, gentlemen. I think we've talked about a lot of things on this show. A lot of exciting things. New PHP podcast coming out for PHP Architect. Make sure you tune in. Look for it. iTunes, Google Play, or wherever. I don't know. We have 0 listeners on Google's podcast system. Just so you know. But we actually have a good amount of listeners on iTunes. Surprisingly, I don't know. And apparently we're big in Japan. I really can't explain it. I don't know why we're so big in Japan, but
all right, reel it back in. Let's slow down. Reel it back
Okay.
in.
I was gonna let him
we're
keep
gonna wrap
going.
this up. This has been
Wait, no. Wait. So back up a little bit. You went too
And then-
far.
Then
What else did we talk about? We talked about something
make sure
after
you
the podcast.
keep an eye out on the Twitter handle of Wave PHP.
There you go.
Lots
Thank
of
you.
information that's going to be coming there the next couple of weeks or so, including some pretty cool logos and at some point a website and call for papers and ticket prices and all that stuff is going to be flooding into at Wave PHP on
Yeah,
Twitter.
you can attend for
and-
only $1,500.
Also, if anyone knows someone who can program a good website, we're looking for.
Yeah, seriously, anybody would be good because yeah. All right, gentlemen, this has been episode 72 of PHP Edley. I'm Eric Van Johnson.
I'm John Congdon.
I'm Casper Mattress.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
I've had way too much to drink.
You okay, John? You're leaning on your wind filter.
Can you take us off air?